Hey, welcome to the broadcast. We're gonna go into the news and cartoons section. I always think it's kind of fun. Nice little snapshot, thumbnail way of getting perspective of what's happening in the world, and I find it somewhat entertaining as well. But I'd like to get a little backed up. So it's the last few weeks of the news and cartoons. So I just want to kind of go through them little by little. No indications of aliens or extraterrestrial activity. Okay. Jeez, that's funny. Mild derailment. Actually, I think we might have looked at these before, but we'll just zip through. Nikki Haley throws her hat into the chopper. Okay. Trump DeSantis, endless gun violence. That's not good. Um, so let me just get out of the way here. Jump to this side. Boop. Earthling shot down his science party, and then they're making him get his own Netflix account. Oh no. U.S. Mexico balloon situation hands off. So they're from the Chinese government balloons. Oh, jeez. There you have it. All right, let's see. I'll go to the next little section here. Go to this one. There we go. So this is these are all the cartoons basically from February. Just getting caught up. Do you think our water is safe to drink? East Palestine? Not really. Oh no, two-headed dog. Jeez. Schools are for education, not indoctrination. Okay, maybe some. Oh, I mean, jeez. These unlicensed dispensary popping up everywhere. Oh, wow. This is kind of funny. We didn't set out to monetize teen depression. That was just a happy accident. You got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yikes. The Westfall. How dare Ukraine defend itself? Unbelievable. Rights come in small packages. Freedom. Attack mode. Debt ceiling. Just time to visit with family submarines. Catastrophic. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now in different areas of the world. I mean, all situations in Ohio, East Palestine, train derailments, different issues with that. Not good. Latest pandemic victim. Government. I know. Jeez. COVID came from a lab. Uh, yeah. That's funny. That's a good one. I found my ideal replacement as Twitter CEO, Dilbert. Ukraine, World War III. Yep, pretty much. It's a lot about your policies. The toxic code. Funny. I don't know, it's just a very interesting perspective. I mean, I'm not gonna read through every single one, but I think people get the picture. Some It's a funny way of capturing events that have happened over the past few weeks or any time, really. Editorial cartoons are just very succinct, very to the point. I don't know. It's actually pretty good drawings, but that's funny. And January 6th was just a peaceful protest, GOP route to extinction. Fox News photo editor. Jeez. What's the fast way to get the word out that we're trying to ban TikTok? I'll make it TikTok. Jeez. This is kind of funny. Rupert Murdoch has an obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on TV tonight. We must stop free speech in order to protect it. I don't know. This country, a disaster. Bad dog, Wuhan lab leak, FBI, bad dog. Yep. What's it called when the city pays 5 million to care for migrants? Tuesday? Jeez. Most mostly powers high energy prices wind and solar. As it turns out, you can't run an electrical grid in good intentions. Red pen is in good sign. Jeez. Oh, creepy spy balloons. Oh, jeez. Not the running board is sprinkler system on Santos. Yeah, I haven't really been following the whole Santos thing. I don't know. I just don't really care. I mean, it's just like endless crises and situations with different politicians and somebody's going to jail over here or somebody's getting indicted over there or I don't know, it's just impossible to keep up at this point in history. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little snapshot of where things are at currently, current events, and you know hope you found it entertaining. Hi, welcome to the hi, welcome to the current events analysis part of the show. I got kind of backed up a little bit here. So I have to go back a few weeks. So this is the focus. Mainly this week is going to be on cuttingedge.org articles over the past several weeks that I want to get caught up on. And, they're always very current in terms of analysis of events that are happening all over the world. What's happening in Jerusalem, what's happening in China, what's happening in North and South Korea. It's I've often relied on this particular ministry to maintain a pretty solid perspective of what's happening in the world in a lot of ways. I mean, I always do my own research on my own, but I've always found that the insight from a biblical perspective, what's happening in the world, has been very on point. And no matter what it is, what's happening with this part of the world, so or other parts of the world, and I find it's very reliable, very, very, very reliable. So for me, and maybe other people can appreciate that as well. So I'm just gonna kind of go right into all the different articles over the past several weeks. This is from a few weeks ago at this point. So this is the cuttingedge.org newsletter I get via email. So we have Chinese green light lasers systematically swept over the entire Hawaiian Islands last week. Wars on the way warning is blared after Hawaii gets lasered. I didn't hear anything about that. Again, this is another reason why I tune into this or I review these newsletters. So this green laser is known to be the guidance of a new type of Chinese glide bomb. Okay. Um, honestly, never heard of that. So I guess we'll see what happens with that. China just attacked the sovereignty of the United States. I guess through that kind of intervention into the Hawaiian Islands, which is really unfortunate. The New Age Christ must have a combination worship center for Muslims, Jews, Christians, if he is to stride to the world scene. That definitely exists in Abu Dhabi. I've seen it. Unique combination worship center for Muslims, Jews, Christians is opening Thursday in Abu Dhabi. The Abrahamic Family House opens in Abu Dhabi, a beacon of light. I've seen this. I think it's a very kind of abstract type of architecture that's used. It doesn't have particular geographic reference as far as uh, the architectural style. It's not specifically maybe Muslim in orientation or Christian or it doesn't look like a synagogue and it doesn't look like a mosque or it's very different. It's unique. So it's kind of, I guess, like supposed to be like an amalgamated thing for different religions. So um, another sign that Antichrist is close to appearing. President Biden is close to binding the United States or United Nations mandate for the next pandemic. Oh, lovely. Biden admin is preparing sign up for the United States to a legally binding accord with the World Health Organization that would give the authority to dictate America's policies during a pandemic. Lovely. Who can issue a new rule and it will be followed by doctors all over the world down to the local level. Democrat senators urging lawlessness upon President Biden. Okay. Ignore the federal court ruling against the abortion pill. Democrat senator tells Biden ignore potential court order blocking abortion pill. Okay. Whatever. Donald Trump's position on abortion is more Catholic than the Pope's. The devil's triangle: big tech, big pharma, big Vatican. Yeah, we shall soon see. I mean, who ends up being the next president? I mean, they'll definitely define the direction of this country. American troops may be about ready to trigger a war tripwire with China. Breaking news: U.S. sending 200 troops to Taiwan for training. Great. Pentagon is sending a contingent of men who will train Taiwanese soldiers how to use the new cutting edge technology equipment. China is said to be preparing to attack Taiwan in 2023. China, why Beijing has decided this is the year to unify with Taiwan. World War rationing is suddenly proposed to solve climate change. World War II style rationing of meat, clothing, and energy needed to fight climate change. Climate change is planned to throw the world into the very global war toward which Antichrist is aiming. The United Nations is suddenly discovering that Iran possesses weapons grade uranium. UN watchdogs discover Iran has weapons grade enriched uranium. Lovely. Iranian leaders abruptly announced that they are planning a worldwide campaign of assassination of Jewish leaders. Oh, that's even, jeez. Iran is mapping Jewish leaders worldwide for assassination. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm just skimming through these headlines because I'm very, very kind of backed up here. I just took a hiatus from this broadcast and just kind of getting back in the saddle. But I, I definitely suggest reading these different articles. Maybe not all of them. I mean, whatever piques your interest, but I'm just kind of breezing through, just reading through headlines and giving kind of a synopsis of different types of perspectives through that process. So yeah, so I definitely strongly advise giving it going going through the articles. They're very informative, very insightful. Looking at things from a biblical perspective is very much encouraged, in my opinion. So all right, so we're gonna go down here a little bit or back up this way. Okay, World War III is the inevitable release required to release the overkill energy built up by the forces of finances and environmental toxins. Hmm, interesting. When World War III occurs, you will know that the account is merely being balanced by a process of benevolence, slavery, and genocide. The world is depicted as spinning out of control financially. The world is being poisoned to death by greedy corporations. NTSB chair, break ruling, but a gig, booty gig, or whatever his name is, blamed Trump for repealing would not have prevented East Palestine derailment. Right? The liberal Washington Post tried its level best to find a railroad regulation change that made by President Trump, which caused the East Palestine derailment. I'm not aware of any of these scenarios, but residents are now suffering chemical bronchitis and other ailments. East Palestine residents experiencing painful breathing, rashes, weakness. But the president still won't visit the disaster sites. Biden sending millions to Palestinians, but doesn't care about East Palestine, Ohio, Levin says. President Biden is planning to crush U.S. sovereignty. Biden and UN WHO pandemic treaty will crush U.S. sovereignty. Sorry, I'm not sure why I can't scroll down here, but okay. He is going to turn responsibility for the next pandemic over to the United Nations WHO. The Israeli government is responsible for the deaths of two young, bright Jewish students because the official denied the application for a license. Not sure what that's all about, but okay. Just touching upon these different articles that have been posted and the analysis. Again, the focus is really how does this all fit into a biblical perspective of the world right now? I mean, a lot of people, I mean, the general consensus is if you're a believer that we're living in the end times. So, obviously these things that are happening reflect that. The untimely suicide of a Clinton billionaire adds one more statistic to the growing Clinton death count, now up to 71. New details coming to light in suicide death of billionaire financier Thomas Lee. Just another person involved with the Clintons. We proved that Hillary is a high level Illuminati witch. This unique trail of dead bodies is to be expected from a politician who is a high ranking witch. Okay. America is being invaded by an army of young, healthy men. Texas sheriff. We're experiencing a silent invasion of military age men. Why do we continue to deliberately erase our southern and northern borders? That definitely ties into the formation of a North American Union, forthcoming union of the countries that make up the North American continent, which would be Mexico, the US, and Canada. So, NAFTA, people consider it to be the cornerstone of that, union formation in the future, and which ultimately parallels the division of the globe into 10 supranational regional governments or kingdoms as outlined in the kingdom or the book of Revelation, with the 10 kingdoms of Revelation and their subsequent 10 kings to rule over the 10 kingdoms. Israeli police have prevented an assassination of Minister Ben Gvir while he was on the Temple Mount. Scary. World War III would have erupted. Hatred for Israel continues growing among the countries God listed, Yahweh listed as joining to attack Israel. President Biden is attempting to push Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu over a political cliff. U.S. pushing Netanyahu in his relationship with Putin. Russia is filling the airwaves with stark warnings of the danger of nuclear war. Oh, lovely. Red lines have already been crossed by U.S. Russia warrant. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the reality of World War III is, I definitely say was definitely on the horizon. I mean, hopefully we don't see it in our lifetime, but it seems like it'll definitely happen in our lifetime. So hopefully it's not as crazy as one can imagine it would be. And we're able to survive um, in this world, you know, overall. I'm not sure. It's really up to the Almighty to protect His people, and in this situation where we're staring down a potential World War III, um, involving North Korea, South Korea, Russia, Ukraine, Russia and China, Iran, the other countries in the Middle East, Israel, the U.S., NATO forces, UK. I mean, you name it. I mean, would all probably definitely be involved in a World War III scenario. So Russia is preparing a new attack against Ukraine. Russia has prepared 1,800 tanks and 4,000 armored vehicles for invasion in 10 days. Russian forces have allegedly prepared 1,800 tanks and 4,000 armed vehicles. It said that. Jeez. The release of January 6 videotapes proves that Trump haters to be putrid liars. Kinzinger, Grifter, Tucker Carlson's January 6 coverage disgusting. Okay. The bottom line message: we recognize no restraint on our power. We can arrest without charges and imprison without constitutional constraint. In one word, intimidation. Such unconstitutional intimidation is already happening. Secret surveillance video dismantles January 6th narrative. All right. We just imprisoned a peaceful American citizen with no charges. How long will it take before government officers are rushing up to your front door? Florida senator proposes novel ideas as to how to rein in Democrats using their own hypocrisy against them. Senator's ultimate cancel act prevents Democrats from winning another election. Right? He proposes to outlaw any party from participation in politics which supported the institution of slavery at any time in the past, which Democrats came to power on the sole issue of maintaining slavery back in the early 1800s. So I don't know where he's going with that one. Let us examine again the foundational basis for slavery of the Democratic Party. Okay. Law and order prevailed in a Chicago primary election as Mayor Lori Lightfoot was defeated, coming in third in a three-way race. Beautiful. A member of San Francisco's reparations committee proposes that anyone deemed due for a payment receive 500 million each. Okay. Kudoki. Southern Baptist Rick Warren compares himself to Jesus Christ. Okay. Rick Warren compares himself to Jesus after Saddleback booted from Southern Baptist Convention. Not sure what that's all about, but whatever. Uh, it's very different things happening right now in this world. Very interesting, very bizarre in a lot of ways. So, and also, if you want to support the cuttingedge.org ministry, they have a lot of things for sale on the site. A lot of books, a lot of videos. People have found it very rewarding. I mean, I've gotten a lot of material from their site overall in the course of my life. Um, I've definitely appreciated their various articles. I mean, it was honestly the whole subject of Freemasonry and the realities of Freemasonry behind the scenes and their literature and symbols. I mean, I've got my feet wet with this ministry a long time ago, over 20 years ago, really more like 25 years ago at this point. So, I really, really appreciate this site. So, former President Trump screamed for the arrest and trial of everyone who was on the January 6th committee. Okay. Both China and America are engaged in a massive buildup of material to support all out war. But America is too short of resupplying munitions to support a modern battle. Has America any more than the 1 day British supply? UK running dangerously low on ammo after sending munitions to Ukraine on only 1 day's battle supply. I hope that's not the case. When President Biden badly bungled the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, he left a whopping 7.2 billion in military hardware. Biden administration's incompetent Afghanistan withdrawal exposed in House GOP hearing. Meanwhile, our military supply to Ukraine is over 100 billion. There's people dying all over the place. Obviously, people are dying in Ukraine, but people are also living in dire straits in this country, living in homelessness, homeless children. They don't have any money, any food, any shelter, but we're going to send $100 billion so Ukraine can go kill Russians. Wow. Meanwhile, our military supply is over 100. What is the U.S. getting in Ukraine for 100 billion? Who knows? East Palestine continues to be polluted to the point where people are leaving. Are East Palestine residents victims of EPA's environmental racism? The Snuff Out the Cities campaign is now underway. Mexican drug cartels do run our southern border. The kidnapping of 4 American citizens and the murder of 2 reveals that the war to drive citizens out of cities is underway. GOP slams Biden following kidnapping, killing of U.S. citizens in Mexico. Yeah, I mean, we're living in a crazy, crazy world right now. I mean, that's for sure. So, it's just important to stay a watcher on the wall, in order to make sense of all this nonsense that's happening in the world, we need to have perspective and do something about these kinds of things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. And we can maybe do something about it to reinvigorate ourselves or just stand strong in the light of all this wickedness all around us. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're kind of inundated at this point. Some people I work with some people, they're completely clueless to these realities in the world. They go on their vacations all the time. They just are thoroughly insulated from these types of realities because they don't. I honestly don't think they really care. They are jet set. They go on vacations all the time. They just don't really care about all this other stuff that's going on in the world. But I think it's no matter what, it's important to have perspective of what's happening in the world, to see things clearly, to completely um, understand what's happening from a biblical perspective. That we're definitely living in the latter days. I think that goes without saying. And there's so many different signs that point in that direction that I think it's a point that's just, I mean, it's a definitive at this point. So look at it any other way, I just can't see it. So, but it's a beautiful thing when we think about it, and the return of the Messiah is closer at hand. If we are definitely living in the latter days, and we can just appreciate that fact. I mean, we're gonna have to go through some probably pretty crazy trials and tribulations as a result, but I think we can definitely power through it, and we have eternal life in the Messiah. So no matter what happens, if they kill us, if they destroy our lives somehow or another, and we have nothing, we still have eternal life in the Messiah. So that's all I really care about, and I hope that's all you really care about too. So there you have it. All right. So hope you enjoyed that, and you know feel pretty up to speed at this point. So hopefully you do too. Take care.